is not January. Today is February 1st, 2026. It is 3:07 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 is on Pt1. Some squaddies who bought as ever chocolates. They were sharing their receipts. What were some other discussion that I bought in? Something from Ethiopia, them. With Trevor Noah and Prime Minister of Barbados was talking about it, and a tweet that I came across regarding Haiti that I responded to. So yeah, so that's on PYTE. Those two discussions regarding Haiti and Prime Minister of Barbados, I think it's to a discussion, and I ended up adding it to the tweet. All right, but majority of the tweets are the squaddies who were sharing their receipt of as ever they bought chocolate, and it seems like it's sold out. So we're gonna focus on some Epstein files that were released and some other discussion regarding politics, so US politics, that is. Okay, so let's go on X. So this is the first one. Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, or at least he was until very, very recently. So these are some of the images that they put out. I don't know what happened to this person here. Oh my god. Well, her hand is up, so is it up or laying down? Yeah, it's up. This one is laying down, so someone is chilling in the back here, feet on the table. He really was enjoying himself, and he let people take pictures. They think removing his title from royal list remove his proximity to the throne. He is still what he was. Prince Andrew is a prince of the United Kingdom and protected by 2 monarchs. The Queen insisted on keeping him in place in her regiment even when they didn't want him. Alright, so you could pause and read all of that. I'm not gonna read it. May Virginia Giuffre rest in peace, because they tried to silence her, but there's more nonsense coming out regarding him. That image right here, he felt, I think it was after, was it, what happened to Virginia Giuffre? Was it after something had happened to Virginia Giuffre? And he came out all smiling as if his problem was over. There's more stuff here. William and Kate will prefer Andrew as neighbor over Harry and Meghan, claims royal commentator. Yeah, the UK was trying to pen, I don't know, Harry and Prince Andrew as if they did the same exact thing. It's ridiculous. And especially the squad. The squad were on top of that. Don't put Harry in the same category as Andrew. So there's more stuff here. All right. Let's go to the next tweet. This one is very interesting regarding William. Oh, but, oh no, that's not it. The next one. Okay, Charles and William thought this was over. I guess it's only the beginning. Protesters are asking a valid question. How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Some of this video, I've shared them already. They're old, but for some reason, after the US have released some of the Epstein file, the squad are bringing some of this stuff back. This was when William was out, and they were asking William how long did he know about the Epstein thing. Alright, so January 20th, 2026.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you been covering up for Andrew?
Go away, man. Go away. That's enough. There's children here, I'm police officer, right? Carry on, you can be arrested.
He's just asking, how long did he know? And I think what the US is doing here, I really don't think Trump is running the show right now. They released the Andrew thing. I think it was like yesterday or something. Well, it could have been on Friday, because I've been completely out of online. It's when I'm recording. I took a few moments to get some tweets to share with you. But what I think is happening here, because the way the US is going right now, where you see ISIS killing people, and you see people who were elected to protect us, the Constitution, to prevent some of this from happening, they all shut their mouth. In my humble opinion, for what is being released, It's just to show those elected officials who they have something against to remain in line. Do what I say, or we're gonna release more, just like we're doing right now with Andrew. Andrew's already down the gutter of pedophile, of dirt, of garbage. I don't know what else to say about that. So they're saying, look, we have a lot. So stay in line, or we're gonna remove, or we're gonna share some of your nonsense public. So those people are staying quiet, and there are a lot of elected officials who's not running again. They had enough. Okay? Because of things they probably they've done, and they got things on them if they don't vote to make sure Israel get what it wants. Or they're gonna release this, and these people, I mean, you think these people were playing with, I don't know. These men are like, well, let's just say Israel have its interests, and then you have the Republican, the racist, okay, have their own agenda. So they were playing each other, but Israel had the upper hand because they got some dirt on them. If you go back to some of my very old big videos where I've been saying, where Rachel Maddow showed a video of was talking about Putin, how Putin was able to get the prosecutor dropping a case against, was it Boris Yeltsin or something like that? So when that happened in Russia, it worked because nobody wants to show things that they're doing privately in their own bedroom, even though everybody does it. But the difference is sometimes they do it either outside of their marriage, or they're doing it with kids. So Israel took it another notch. Copy the same model from Russia. Do it to Americans while they're partying, you enjoying yourself, you having fun, girls and children coming. I don't know why men, grown freaking men, wants to do things with children. I don't know the sickness in their mindset. So while they're doing that, enjoying themselves, and guess what? Epstein was either recording, taking pictures here and there for future reference, because Israel had its goal. This is what I want to do. Meanwhile, in order to do that, we need to get those Americans, those politicians, in compromised position. So when we get to whatever point in time, then we'll start using them. This is what's happening here in the US. If you've been listening to my podcast, you should not be surprised by any of this, because the moment that I started looking into the royal family after the media in the UK was trashing Meghan. This is what got me to doing all of this. They were trashing Meghan, and I was like, there's no way. And then the very first thing that I came when I started looking into the royal family was this. It was in plain sight for anybody who was looking. And then you have people like this woman here who's protecting this kind of behavior of the royal family. It's people like her who's allowing the royal family to continue that kind of behavior, to give them a pass. But, and I've also said in the United States, there's two things you cannot mess with. You could do everything else, but two things the American people will not let go. Let me know in the comment section if you have heard me say this before. It's either you abusing animals, specifically dogs, or children. The Epstein thing did wrong with children. People will not put up with this. Yes, there are some crazies who will turn a blind eye and go along with it because they are in the same mindset as the perpetrators. But majority of Americans will not let it go. Even if people who's in prison, the most violent people in the US, you go to prison, if they know you do things to children, you're not coming out alive. Okay? The moment any inmate know you did wrong to children, you better sleep with one eye open, because you're not coming out alive. That's two things in America you do not mess with: animals, specifically dogs, and children. Okay, so this is what's happening here, where the Epstein or the Israel thought that they got this going on, they got it under pack. To a certain extent, they probably thought that because they got the House, they got the Senate, and they got the presidency, and they got the freaking Supreme Court. So they got all flush, everything that they want. So when you outside of the US, you're looking in why this is happening. It's because the all major political offices is running by MAGAs. So they play their card very well. It didn't take place in 1 second. It's little at a time. You see how they prevent President Obama. It started way before President Obama, but once President Obama became president twice, okay, they went full force. They don't want the direction that the US was going. So they were like, F it. They go full force. Prevent Obama from doing things. They manipulate. They play the mind game. They did the propaganda. And the weak mind go along with it because they give them the things that they wanted to hear. Okay? Meanwhile, the agenda was what's happening now. To crumble the empire and weaken it so it doesn't become that strong anymore, so they could do their nonsense globally. I don't know why some people, a lot of Americans get it. African Americans get it. Okay? It's the weak mind. But anyway, why did I bring all of this? So there's Charles here. This one, the first one that I share here, was from January 20, 2026, was when Harry was in the UK and William decided to leave wherever he was, wherever that place was, and then the people were calling, well, one person was calling him out about the Epstein. And then this is Charles here. Let me see, is that the image? Yeah, that's an image. Charles was going out, I don't know for what event. They were calling him out, and that lady was upset. They took the screenshot of the lady. Okay, I've shared that video and some past videos with you. Charles, who was this video of Charles, I shared it already, but this tweet is only showing the screenshot. Why unfair? If your brother was a messed up psycho, it doesn't make you knowledgeable of his crime until they became public or personally guilty of those crimes. I don't have particular affection for Charles or William. I'm just saying the UK media is needlessly savage. Alright? As far from over, it's not even begun yet. Wait till it is finally revealed that pedo Rothschild Charles is top on the list. In fact, all of the lists from Epstein, Jimmy Savile, and Richard Branson, oh my God, the entire royal British government, police force, and judges, etc., massive child traffickers and pedophiles, and soon they will all meet their fate. Yeah, everything is in the, whatever is in the US right now. Alright, so disgusting by the rich silencing the brave protesters while our constitutional rights are already being violated. They're doing the same thing. And the UK, this is what I said, where they already have the UK in a box. Okay, they know how to play with the population in the UK. It's the US they had problem with. They try many different ways to put Americans in the same box as the UK population, but they could never do it. Mostly because of African American. That's their problem, African American. They can never switch the mind of African Americans. So all of these things that you are seeing here is because of African American refuse to bend the knee for whatever the government is trying to do. This is what's holding America right now, even though you don't see African American out there protesting. If African American were protesting, those things that we are seeing where white Americans are starting to realize, okay, whatever sleep sleeping pill they were on to allow the government to do whatever they have been doing, they're waking up now because African American did not give the Trump administration the satisfaction to hunt down African American. Because the moment the 2024 election happened, okay, African American was like, okay. I myself, you could go back to some of my videos. I share some stuff with you. You could go on my community board. I share my feeling with you where I say I'm really down. I'm like depressed and things like that after I realized that Trump won. Even though I still have that little thing in my head. I don't think he won the right way. But it happened. And the moment that I saw he won, really depressed. And it seems like it's not just me who felt the same way. A lot of other people, African American, felt that way. But for me, I had to take a step back to process what just happened. And then when I thought about it, and I said, okay, it is what it is. We cannot we cannot change it. So I took a step back, processed it, accepted it, and I started put one and one together. And the thing that came to mind was President Obama first election, his first term. I was like, for 2 years, he was able to do what he wanted to do, got people health care. And then the second part of his first term, the Republican went and then they just black. Even though he won his second term, they just black. He pretty much wasted 2 terms. The only part that he was able to do was the first term, the first 2 years of his first term. Everything else, Republican, black. And then we got to here. Okay? Well, then we got Biden. Biden relieved us from the nonsense of Trump. But whatever plan that they have, and I have a little question mark with the way Biden decided to step back. Okay. I've been holding this. I never said it. This is what I felt like happened to Biden. All right, so that's that. This part is gonna be for my members. I can't put that for everybody to see, to listen. All right, so the thing with the Epstein thing, the UK, it was a test. Okay, for those people who's in the Senate, the politician. Stay on board or else we're gonna release. So this, I think it was just a taste. They already know Andrew is gone. All right, they already know Andrew is full-blown in. That's their guinea pig for the rest of the pedophile out there. They already know Andrew is protected in the UK. So for the US politician, you better pay attention or do what we say or else we're gonna release. This is a test drive. They have probably more for about Andrew. This is nothing what they release about Andrew. All right, okay, let's start all over with this. So disgusting, by which silencing the brave protesters while our constitutional rights are already being violated. Maybe she should offer up to pay protesters forced contribution to the billionaire British royal family. Then, if she prevents legal peaceful protests, he asks a valid question. All right, look at the pathetic gatekeepers. No justice, no peace. Well, right now, especially in the US, those MAGAs, they don't care. All right, they know they didn't win properly, so they have nothing to lose. This is their last stance, okay? And the US is the only one they didn't get. And this is what I've said about the 2 people who they kill. As much as really don't like it, I'm not promoting it. And in a way, especially for the kids, the mother who they killed, they shot in the face, for the kids, it's very sad. But I don't know how you guys might take it, because I would not want that for anybody. But because our political climate, what we're going through, it was in a way necessary. I'm saying it very vaguely, but necessary to open some people's eyes to see, okay, if they could do that to her, what do you think they would do to you? This kind of thing. So she took, it's like a martyr for the rest. Because these people are freaking savages. They'll kill anybody for anything as long they get what they want. So it was an eye-opener for white Americans who felt like they were safe with their skin color, the whiteness. So it opened their eyes saying, your skin color doesn't give a shit about them. You give them power, they will use it on you. That's pretty much what this tells me. Alright, so that's that. Let's move on. You know, the same kind of thing, African American have already done it. Protesting, do all sort of things. It doesn't work with these people. Alright? That's what Trump, pretty much Trump is showing the rest of Americans. Look, you should have listened to African American. Alright, so next week. Never forget that when Queen Betty kicked the bucket, Prince William is racist. Priority was taking Prince Andrew to Baltimore on the private jet. This is about who Prince William is bully like, not about who he effing hates. Alright, let's see here. William drives Andrew, Edward, and Sophie from airport to Baltimore. And they left Harry out. Remember? They left Harry out. So there he is here. I don't know. Unbelievable. There they are here again. Okay, we will never forget. That's an ad. He then answered Harry's call and left him to make his own way to Baltimore. Shocking and never to be forgotten. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They left Harry. He wasn't a working royal, but kept his home and security, and not a hint of William's usual tantrum, unlike his attitude to his brother, who is deliberately set out to destroy for marrying an intelligent, beautiful woman who neither he or Kate could match or compete with. And you know, another thing as well, with what's happening with the United States, if we get out of this mess, I think it's gonna help a lot of other countries, specifically Haiti, because the U.S. is giving Dominican Republic money for whatever reason, okay? But when you look at, especially some of the videos I've been doing regarding Haiti, and I've shared videos of Dominican Republic picking up Haitians, put them in a room, and, you know, the same way what ICE is doing with it's not even immigrants, some Americans, they put them in detention or whatever. But if we get out of this, maybe the money that's going on, that the U.S. is giving Dominican Republic, for whatever reason, maybe it will stop. Okay, we'll lift the chain, or whoever they're funding to create the mess in Haiti, maybe that will stop. Let me look this up. Is the U.S. giving Dominican Republic money? And then I'll ask for what reason. Alright, so this is what I asked Google. Is the U.S. government gives the Dominican Republic money? Let's see what they say. Okay, the answer is yes. The U.S. government provides significant financial assistance to the Dominican Republic with over $107 million in foreign aid obligated for fiscal year 2024. This funding managed via U.S. aid with the U.S. Embassy and the Dominican Republic government focused on strengthening democratic governance, health services, economic development, and security. This part. Okay? So they're giving the reason. Alright? So what, okay, the next question is, what is the Dominican Republic doing for security that satisfy the U.S. government? Let me pause and ask that. I don't know if it's a good question here. What is the Dominican Republic is doing for security that satisfy the U.S. government's money? Let's see here. The Dominican Republic enhances regional security, justifying U.S. investment by acting as a key partner in combating drug trafficking. That's the nonsense they're saying. Okay, strengthening maritime port security and implementing anti-money laundering measures. Yeah, right. The country has achieved record drug seizures, utilized U.S. support vetted law enforcement. Meanwhile, okay, Haiti, the movement out from Haiti to outside is very limited. So how is the guns, okay? Where is the guns from Haiti's coming from? Alright? Alright, so this should have been for my Haiti videos. So let's leave that alone. I don't want to go too deep in that. But it's pretty much what they're doing to Haitians. Okay? Okay, so this is what I asked Google. It came to mind, so I said, let me ask it. Is Dominican Republic using the U.S. government's money to racial profile Haitians? Reports from human rights organizations and activists indicate that the Dominican Republic is engaging in widespread racial profiling and mass deportation of Haitian and Dominicans of Haitian descent, some of which may be supported by or aligned with U.S.-funded security initiatives. That's the answer right there. Okay? So the U.S. in some shape or form is paying Dominican Republic to racial profile Haitians. That's the answer right there. Okay? So the whole reason that I was bringing all of these things here, whatever's happening with the United States right now, with Trump, okay, if we do get rid of this regime, maybe it will prevent those funding from going to the Dominican Republic. All right, it's enhancing Dominican Republic to be racial profiling Haitians. Okay, so it might be some sort of like a rope that's gonna be cut to a certain extent. Alright, so you could ask Google the same thing and read all of this, or you could pause and read it. Alright, let me move it. You could pause and read. This is everything. Oops, let me move it back. Pause and read it. This is the question and this is the answer. Oops, the first few sentences. Alright, this is it. Alright, so that's that. To the way suspect. And the problem that they have with Haiti, it's Haiti's history. What Haiti prevent them, what Haiti prevent Europe from doing. Okay? England, Spain, and France. Okay? These three countries. This is why they're spreading or making other countries from hating Haitians. Alright? For those who may not know, just do research of Haiti's history. You'll see why the hate is going all over against Haitians. Okay? Let's leave that alone. Oh my God. It seems like everything that I'm talking now is about Haiti, but this is not a video about Haiti. Next tweet. Okay, I'm already 34 minutes. Some part of this recording will be for my members. I don't want to put it completely out. Alright, that Prince William and Kate made the public statement on where they stood even after learning about Prince Andrew's dealing with Epstein. But hey, as long as they didn't have to stand next to the Black Duchess. Alright, so the squad are bringing receipt. This is from 2023. Prince Andrew traveling to church with Prince William and Kate at Balmoral was a public statement of togetherness, but will never return to official duties, royal expert says. William and Kate will prefer Andrew as neighbor over Harry and Meghan. Well, there's the headline. The paper in the UK, they all are pretty much aligning themselves with Israel. They're setting them up. I've been saying this. They're setting them up. All those headlines is pretty much for future reference. So these people are freaking masterful. They know how to run each thing step by step. They complicit. Kate Middleton. Virginia Goffrey said her Andrew interview pulled because of Kate and William. The interview in 2019 was an air after AC, all with Buckingham Palace. She said, right, burn down the monarchy now. If you look at what's happening in the US is pretty much gone. So now they're shifting to you could see the parallel, all right? So they're doing the same thing. And what I've said about the UK with the monarchy is that first they use the institution, the monarchy, for as a buffer. When they do things around the world that's bad, at least the monarchy could give them a pass. But they will rather have their spot. So eventually the monarchy will be gone. Once they're gone, who's gonna take their place? Not a substitution of a different form of a monarchy, but instead they will recreate whatever their laws, where either a president, they have prime ministers already, but a president where the next group will take over. I don't know. All right, so there's all those headlines here. All right, Meghan marry Harry, a Nazi sympathizer. Nazi killed person of color, Jews, disabled. Okay, so these people will still have to come and try to bring Harry. Harry, see, the difference here is Harry learned. He learned. And when he wore that uniform, it was William and Kate who advised him to do it. But the thing is that he learned. All right, so these are some stuff that were put out regarding the Epstein. Breaking, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche just admitted the DOJ excluded images showing death, physical abuse, or injury from today's Epstein file release. Let that sink in. The government is acknowledging graphic evidence exists and chose to withhold it, while redacting names tied to Jeffrey Epstein and his powerful associates, including Donald Trump. This is what these racist immigrants, okay, from different part of the world, majority of them Hispanics, voted for. Even though they knew that. That's the thing, they knew. My God.
Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Any depiction...
it's playing over. It's only 18 seconds, okay? I'm not going to go in the comment. Next one. This is another DOJ video. This video might have two parts, okay? So this is here. This is Epstein walking on top of the counter, and they blur out some people that were there. I guess there's a lady he's chasing around. This bizarre video of Jeffrey Epstein chasing girl around his kitchen was released in the latest Epstein file yesterday. 58 seconds. My God. But let me not even continue playing, because I'll be showing what is it? Screenshot anyway. Don't be distracted. Let's see here. This one is 47 seconds.
I was 14 years old. I was 16 years old. 16. 17, 14 years old. This is me. This is me. This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein. This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein. There are about 1,000 of us. It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Kudos to these ladies who had the guts to come out. Okay, this is 11 minutes. I'm not even gonna show it. It's a haven of sexual predator and pedophile like Jimmy Julius Cowell. Alright, so I'll for another time. Alright, so there's that video again. Alright, man, you know who won't find an Epstein list. But guess what? This one is the one who gave the blueprint. Okay? And who's the one who gave the blueprint for these things to happen. They may not be on the list, but he gave the blueprint for it to be spread around. Because his goal was to take America down from within. And he's done it. It's very sad that Americans, those politicians, you know, then value their democracy. Okay, so this one was like a LOL. So the video of the Epstein running around, this one that I just shared with you. So someone asked, I guess there was a still image where they were able, before the, whatever, that black thing blurred them out. So someone took a screenshot of that moment. So they asked, Grok is the AI for Twitter. They asked it, enhance the image. And this is how Grok responded. And there's me laughing here. Said, oh, that's so much better. And Grok responded to me, happy to provide some artistic flair. There's a laugh. If that's better, wait till I try watercolor mode next time. What do you see in it? I mean, it's worse. It's even worse. But hey, I was just laughing. I didn't expect it to respond. All right, next tweet. This is LBC. All right, they're talking about the Epstein file. Okay, I don't think the royal family can be under any illusion about his behavior. Royal historian Andrew analyzes the latest release of photos of Andrew Mountbatten from the Epstein file. All right, 55-second screenshot.
I've always known that Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were much more deeply involved with Epstein than I think they've admitted or people have perhaps realised. But this just kind of brings it home.
How much do you think the king actually knows?
You know, these people who's coming out and saying they know, they knew, why didn't they say at the time when they were using Harry and Meghan as a pretense to prevent people from talking about Andrew? All of a sudden you're coming and saying you knew he was much deeper. Your nonsense mean nothing now. All right, let me move it back. Freaking idiots.
Is it home?
How much do you think the king actually knows about what Andrew may have got up to in the Epstein files? Because is he, do you think, receiving the same drip of information that we are, or do you think there's been a more forthright account from his brother?
No, I don't think his brother has told the king the truth, and I think that's part of the problem. And he lied also to the Queen, or allegedly lied to the Queen. But the fact is that MI6 were watching Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Stuff was reported back to the palace, so I don't think they can be under any illusions about his behaviour. They chose to ignore it until the story broke. And I continue to think that he's been protected, that they really haven't grasped this nettle. I've always known that Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were much more deeply involved with Epstein than I think
it's playing again. It's playing again. They all knew, okay? They all knew. This is what they all about. From Jimmy Savile, even before that, they all knew. Alright, so there's all of this. They all knew. Have you met my two boys? They all knew. They know. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. This is a TikTok. Now, well, I've been talking about some American politics, but this one. The Democratic Party is the HR department of the white supremacist empire. It's there to make you feel better by listening to your complaint, but nothing gets really done. I thought that was kind of funny in a way. But people need to understand where we are right now. You think those Republicans gonna just sit there and don't capitalize on what they've been working so hard for? Like I said, this video might have two parts. In some part of my recording, I said the GOP, MAGAs, they got the House, they got the Senate. They're pretty much in control of it, even though there are some Democrats in there. But the majority rules. Okay? So if the Republican MAGAs got the Senate, they got the House, they got the presidency, which is Trump, and then they got the Supreme Court, what can the Democrat do? What can they do? This is what I'm saying. When people are voting, even though the person who's running next to them as a Democrat or something, you need to look very deep into their affiliation in terms of who's backing them, where they're taking money from, and all of that. Because they could say they're running as a Democrat because they already know Republicans are not winning races. So they will just change affiliation, run as a Democrat so they could be elected. And then once they get in office, they continue the same tactic as the Republican. It's just they're saying they're running as a Democrat. All right. The Democratic Party is the HR department of the white supremacist empire. It's there to make you feel better by listening to your complaints, but nothing gets really done. All right, so let's listen. 1 minute and 49 seconds.
The Democrat Party is the HR department of America.
That is by far the best comparison that I have heard in regard to this two-party system. I made a video recently on my other account where I was just questioning the two-party system in general, because I'm like, there's a whole lot of meetings, there's a whole lot of hooting and hollering, there's a lot of press conferences, but there is not a lot of counteraction. There's like nothing is happening. It feels like screaming into a void at this point. And he goes on to say that the HR department is there to absorb your complaints and soothe your anxiety. And that's exactly what it is, because the way that it was marketed to me, the way that HR was marketed to me before I actually entered into the workforce, was that they were there for the employee. They're there for you to file your complaints, your grievances, and then, we will meet a resolution. And I found out very, very quickly they did not give a flying. And that's exactly what this feels like. It's like, call your representative, send an email, write a Yelp review. Like, what is that supposed to do? Like the recent thing that happened with the officers in Minnesota, where the man got on the podium, the chief of police got on the podium and acted very surprised that his person of color officer got profiled by an ICE agent, but that's a whole other different video. And so when they went on to ask, like, hey, what were you, like, what's your next steps? What are you going to do so that, like, we can, like, counteract this, or like this doesn't happen again? He was said to send an email or go on a website and file a complaint. Very HR. Wow. Ew.
But anyway, well, it needs to change. First, we need to get money out of politics. Okay, they blocked the comments. Get money out of politics. Be accountable. Whatever Trump is doing, I think it's going to create a reset if we do get out of that. Okay? There needs to be accountability. Get these people out of there. All of them. Because they're not working for the people. They're getting big chunk of money from outside groups. What I mean by outside groups, outside of the United States, who have an interest of Americans to subdue America. So they rather give up their rights to vote towards those outside groups. It's just something I don't understand. Why do people feel this way when you have control of your own will, of your own future, but a few bucks will make you do things to take away not only your own right, even though you're voting to please the people who's giving you money, but you're also removing your own rights away from you, your kids. I just don't understand that. Okay, so this is the next tweet. Hell yeah, quote, I've got white skin, so I'm using my privilege to speak for my friends and neighbors. We're telling them to stay home and stay safe, and we're coming out and fight for them. All right, 1 minute and 29 seconds.
It's all personal. It's personal at every level. My dad was a vet. He got care at the Veterans Hospital at the VA where Alex Preddy, he was a nurse there, and he was just shot in the street for filming. I have a Native American daughter. Her community is being attacked right now. It's our friends, our neighbors, they're from all over the world here in Minnesota, and we love our neighbor. We stand up for our neighbor. Trump is trying to shut us down, and he's trying to make us afraid, but look at this. Everybody comes and shows up for our neighbor. We're not going to hate here. We're going to show love.
And Julie, you used to be a school teacher. Can you talk to me a little bit about how this immigration crackdown is impacting the most vulnerable people in our society, how it's impacting children?
Yeah, I mean, our kids are from all over the world here, and they're terrified. Not just the kids, but the adults are terrified too. I have a friend who was adopted from Korea back in 1983, and he won't leave his house because he's afraid. He's been a citizen since 1983. But ICE doesn't care. They're going after anybody with brown skin. They're targeting people with accents. They don't care. It's brutal. People are afraid to leave their homes here. So I've got white skin, so I'm using my privilege to come out and speak for my friends and neighbors. We're telling them to stay home and stay safe, and we're coming out and fighting for them.
Right? That's the thing African American been saying. There's videos from the past. African American kids going to school, they have dreadlocks. Teachers coming out to put their hands on the kid to cut his hair or her hair because they didn't like it. All of this should tell people something. It may not be violent, but the fact that you are like defacing their identity right in front, because you have the privilege to do that. I don't know what had happened to that particular teacher. So these kind of things, when we see it happening, people should speak up. With the immigrants that they're taking out, yes, you could say there's a right way of putting it, of going about it, or you come to the United States, there's the right way and all of that. You have to understand as well, okay? The Haitians might understand it much more than anybody else. Many of them could come here the right way, but they put so many roadblocks after roadblocks after roadblocks before you could actually get your paper to actually stay legally here. They make it difficult for certain groups. It's not like they're not trying to make it here. It's not like they're not trying to make it here legally. They have tried. But the system make it difficult for them to get it the right way. All right, so there's all of that. I wanted to share that. There's more. You could pause and read. Next one. This has to do with ICE. All right, so let's listen to this. ICE is treating white people the same way the police are treating black people. All right, 48 seconds.
ICE is treating white people the way the police have been treating black people forever. People been saying that. Cornel West just said it on Abby Phillip.
So when you niggerize a whole country, you start treating all of your citizens the way black folk have been treated for 250 years. So from when I see the police killing these two precious folks, Sister Renee and my dear brother Alex,
we've been afraid of the police and treated like non-citizens by the police forever. We've been getting shot by the police for a long time. I hope white people are shocked by how it feels to have the state against you. Cornel West just said what all the black people are thinking. ICE is...
The other thing as well, it didn't have to be that way. There's so much to be said about this. It's a psychology that works on the people. When you see mass shootings, let's say, for instance, there's so many mass shootings that had happened, but nobody did anything. Let's take where those kids, the school kids, Sandy Hook, for instance. The parents have been speaking out forever, ever since it's happened. And it just, I just don't understand why Americans, there are probably some, I'm not going to put every American under the same umbrella, but I just don't understand why some Americans didn't get it. President Obama was president at that time. He got it. It hurt him to a certain level that no presidency has ever been in that situation. They play with the psychologically, mentally, physically, for people, for Americans to be immune to this type of treatment. Incident. Okay? From, I don't know, for as far as you could go back, how they treated African American, till as recently, let's say as before Trump got in office. Okay? Those mass shooting, school mass shooting, theater mass shooting, all of these mass shooting, they make it as if it is okay to go through that. But it's not you. This is the thing here. But it's not you. But you just don't know when these crazies, you're gonna be in the same room as these crazies and decided to act. This is the thing many Americans don't put in their skulls. But the people who are the driving force to allow more guns out there, more guns, more guns. You want to shoot a bad guy, the good guy have to be with guns and all of that. Make it seems like it's okay. But the thing you have to think about, it's not you. Okay, you're still breathing, you're still watching it, but it's not you. They never put one and one together. One day it might be you, because you may not think the same way as these crazies with guns shooting whenever they feel like it, but one day you just never know if you might be in the room with some crazies who's going through some stuff and decided to, hey, this is the day I want to lash out. What was Columbine, for instance? I remember where I was at work, college, went to do my little part-time thing. When I saw it, people were running. I was like, oh my God. It shook me. Nothing has been done. Will I say Columbine would have been the first mass shooting taking place by young people? Let me look it up. Okay, no, it's not. Columbine, okay, the question that I asked was Columbine was the first school mass shooting in America. Columbine was not the first mass shooting in America. They occur as early as the mid-19th century, with incident like the 1960s. I should have remembered that. Yes, where the guy stand on the tower and shoot. Yeah, I should have remembered that. Okay, tower shooting, predating it. However, the 1999 Columbine High School massacre is often cited as the turning point in media coverage and public perception. Okay, 1999. I should have remembered this one. The University of Texas stood in the tower shooting. Yeah, I should have remembered that. But the thing is that, okay, let's say from 1999, the amount of mass shooting that had happened since then, we haven't done anything. But instead, the people who's in power keep on saying more guns, more guns, more guns. And then we had the Uvalde. All right, so when is this gonna stop? So they sensitize the psyche of Americans to accept it, because when they start doing it, whoever's in power, who's controlling when and how and where things happen, the killing happen, you'll be immune to it. It will be just another day. You'll be in a war zone. They even create those video games where you're at war. And these people, when you're playing video games, you could reset. Let's say you lose in that game. I never play any of them, but I'm just saying. You lose, you could always reset. So all of this is playing in the young people's mind. I remember when one of, Mortal Kombat was one of them. When it first came out, people were, some politicians were against it because of the violence, the blood, and then, what was the other one? There was another, the war game. I don't know what it calls. There was another thing. Did they even, let me ask Google some question. I'll show you when I find the answers. Okay, so I remember this. At that time, I wasn't really paying attention to politics that much. I was very young. Okay, did politicians were against Mortal Kombat video games in the US? The answer is yes. US politicians heavily targeted Mortal Kombat and other violent video games in early 1990s, leading to congressional hearing in 1993 and 1994. Senator Joe Lieberman and Herb Cohn led the charge, arguing that realistic, gory, and violent games like Mortal Kombat were being marketed to children and causing real harm. Okay, all of this is coming into play. He was right. Okay? He was right, because they allow, let me pause it so I don't get black. How do I pause it? Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the
all right, let me move it over. Yeah.
The next generation of website creation.
All right, let me just get out of there because I don't want to get flagged for it. Okay, so Joe Lieberman was right. Okay? This is how they get young people to be violent. You could play the video game, and the thing to switch from reality to video game, some kids don't get it. though they give them that mentality, it's okay to shoot, because in video game you could always reset if you lose, but in real life there's no reset. The only reset you might have is a chance if you go to the hospital, the doctor was able to save you, if you were, if you're lucky enough. The other video game, what was the first war video game? Let me look that up. Okay, so I type what was the first war video game in the US. It's going back to 1962. That's not what I'm talking about. It's more, I'll say, maybe I should say after Mortal Kombat. All right, let me pause. Okay, it's going further. The thing that I was thinking, I can't even remember the name. You could pause and read. The question that I asked, what was the first war video game in the US after Mortal Kombat? It said War Gods 1996, was directed fighting game successor to Mortal Kombat, published by Midway, featuring similar 3D style graphic and violent fatalities. If war refers to thematic military style conflict, earlier 1990s strategy title like Conflict Middle East existed, though War Gods was the immediate violent MK style release. Okay, so there have been a lot, but the thing is that I was thinking of one, but I can't even remember the name. The whole point of me bringing those video games, those violent video games into the discussion is that many of these young people, they make them feel like it's okay to be shooting. Young kids cannot differentiate between reality and video games. So they're using those things and go in public and use the real thing on other people. But there's no reset. So the American were being drawn in to accept those type of deaths, when those deaths only happen during war. So we were already at war. African Americans have been at it since their freedom. But there's so much to be said about this, but it didn't come out of the blue. And then you have some parents who's making it okay for young kids to be using real gun, thinking that will make them tough. But those people who are in control, like the NRA and all of that, they encourage that, especially if it's a white family who's giving their kids gun to show off or take pictures of or whatever. They encourage it because they were preparing for our time right now. What you see ISIS doing, you see how whenever you start looking at those MAGA type of men, when they're talking, oh, they're coming for you, they're angry at other people that have absolutely nothing to do with their real life. But for some reason, they are angry with their racist mindset. They want to start chaos. Okay? So the plan was already there with those white supremacists. They've been wanting war against other minorities, other groups. And then the other white people who sometimes are okay with other groups and things like that, they're not that mindset MAGA crazies, but because they've been taking, how will I say that, the system have been created for them to walk through. They never experienced the racism that has happened to other groups, so they were okay with it. But what had happened during Trump presidency is Rene Good and that other guy who got shot from ICE really clicked the switch for them. Okay, it clicked the switch for them to wake up and say, oh my God, these people, yes, I know I'm white, but I'm not that racist. But it clicked, it woke them up and said, I'm not even safe. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now I lost chain of thought. My husband, whenever he goes somewhere, he has to call me 50,000 times. Okay, I forgot my chain of thought. It's just that maybe this is where I was. When those two white people were killed by ICE, it woke those other white people who are not as crazy as those MAGAs to say, wait a second. If they're doing that if they have done that to these two people, what makes you think that they may not turn it against me? So now the barrier that the African American have been holding to prevent the racists, those MAGAs, to go full-fledged on American it's no longer there. African American was like, I'm staying back because we already know how you act, how you behave. So these other white Americans are saying, oh my God, I see what's happening now. Now I understand what African Americans have been saying, because there they are turning against us. What makes you think they're not going to turn against me, the individuals? But those video games have sensitized or have made some American adapt to those killings because they've seen it so many times in video games. So it's easy for them to just go do it in real life. Okay, I hope I make sense with that. All right, so you could read some of the comments here. Let me go to the next one. Oh my God, I spent too much time on it. All right, so this is my last one. It's regarding PBS. In one of my videos that I did yesterday, PBS is one of the station public broadcast system that Trump, similar to NPR, was trying, or maybe he already did, to defund from the federal government. But when I look and search, you could search it yourself, who funds PBS or public broadcasts in the US. It various places. Some are privately, from private companies who donate money to them for them to remain to tell the news. So why Trump did not want those public broadcasting to be in existence, to be funded, is because they do not take orders from, like, let's say, the Murdoch group to stir the propaganda. So like what's that, Wall Street Journal, so they could control the nonsense that they put out. New York Times, they could control the type of information they put out. So these mainstream form of communication, the papers, the TVs like CNN, MSNBC, and others, they could control or funded to spread misinformation and propaganda, this type of thing. But unlike PBS, they cannot. Maybe to a certain extent. I don't want to put absolute into this. Maybe they could, but they stick to the ethic of journalism. So because of that, Trump have been trying to defund it. So, okay, let's ask, before I start this, did Trump defund public broadcasting? Let me pause again. Okay, so this is what I wrote. Did the Trump administration defunded PBS and NPR? Oh, they didn't say. This result. Congress rescind $9 billion meant for foreign aid. Trump signed bill canceling. Okay, I don't want to. Okay, let's remove NPR. Let's focus on PBS only. Okay, let's go to ChatGPT. I'm copying the same question. Going to ChatGPT. Okay, so the answer is yes. Yes, the Trump administration did take action to end federal, okay, they ended it. Not partially defund, but completely ended it. Funding for PBS and NPR, but wasn't as simple as defunding them outright. And there were legal and political challenges to that effort. All right, you could pause and read or go on ChatGPT and answer. Google did not give me the answer. Okay, so there's that. So this is why Trump was trying to defund it, because of good information that was being put out there. All right, did I read it? Donald Trump's presidency has revealed the badly honest way institutions have worked in the United States, says sociologist Tracy McMillan Cotton. All right, so there's all of that. PBS News. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Oh, that's it. And the comments is shut off. And that's my last video.
You have argued for years that many American institutions aren't broken, that they're working exactly as designed. And in the Trump era, that idea has felt less abstract and more visible. What has this moment revealed about who our institutions are actually built to serve?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I think that for a very long time, coming certainly out of World War II, the illusion of sort of linear social progress got taken for granted, right? That the future would always be more equal, more just, more diverse than the present, and certainly more so.
When she said illusion, this is the part where when the word woke came out, many of those institutions, people who had mic, who were on the same page as the Republican, they were upset at the word woke because they want people to be in the illusion, the sleeping mode, to not see what they're trying to do. And this is why they hate African American. African American was never asleep. They were always awakened, watching their backs. Okay? But anyway, the illusion part got me thinking. Maybe at some point I might put this by itself on a short video. Let's continue.
Than the past. And that sort of prevailing belief did not always align with reality, right? So, for example, you can say that the 1990s were a time of great economic prosperity, but at the same time, we were building this truly, at the time, technologically advanced system of surveillance of poor and Black people across the country, right? Those things were happening simultaneously. But the idea of social progress blinded us to, I think, the dangers and the rigors of the places in our institutions that were absolutely capturing wholesale communities for the purpose of prisons, for the purpose of cheap or enslaved labor.
And this is the thing as well. This is from a blueprint from the UK. When they want to do something, okay, they don't come out, I'm gonna do it. What they do instead, they create a problem. Okay? They create a problem, and then out of the problem, to solve it, this is where they bring in what they wanted to do. Like, for instance, the 9/11. Question mark, asterisk, whether it was an inside job or whatever, I don't have the answer for that, but it's been talked about. The 9/11. After that, what did they do? How was traveling outside of the country was? When you go to security and do all of that, a lot of things were changed. And probably also to go to war in the Middle East and all of that. All of these were part of it. So it's a blueprint out of the UK. In order to get to what they want, they don't come out, I'm going to do this. Instead of be honest and go straight to it. Similar to what they do to Harry and Meghan. Instead of telling Meghan, look, I'm not an approval of you marrying Harry and all of that, what did they do? They create all this nonsense, the tabloids, smearing her name to make people hate her. That did not work. Because Meghan had already had a profile in the public sphere, so people could put one and one together and say, no, that's not her. So this is the illusion these people have been doing. Create the problem, manufacture the problem in order to take away your right. Okay? Let's continue.
Institutions that were designed to exclude some people from the workings of our democratic institutions. What has happened under Trump is that the gap between our illusion about social progress and how institutions function has collapsed. So in some ways, I think what we're seeing is a baldly honest version of institutions. Certainly how institutions have worked for poor people in this country for generations, how they have worked for minorities, for immigrants, to a certain extent for women in this country, for sexual minorities, and that more people are now able to see it because they are now vulnerable to it. There's a certain amount of bald honesty in that because we have wholesale abdicated the idea that social progress is not just desirable, but that it is inevitable.
She put it very well. Well, I'll try to put this by itself on a short video. So let me see here. So before I end this video, one more thing I have to say. With the MAGAs, they had their plan all set up. They had everything, all their eggs in their basket. They all arranged their plan, phase 1, phase 2, whatever. Their plan was set. But what they had hoped to happen, I mean, we're not there yet, but I think we will get there. what they were hoping to happen was to get all Americans, especially white Americans, to be on board with their crazy mindset. But instead, what they had caused to happen is to reveal who they are, what their plan is. They reveal themselves, and then our Americans, other Americans who not as crazy as those MAGAs, saying, wait a second, I didn't sign up for this. I'm okay to live next door to my whatever minority neighbors or this and that. But, even though they had their little racists within them, but the MAGAs are full-blown crazy racists. So the MAGAs, they were so proud of themselves, or they felt like they got this under control, but at the end of the day, they revealed themselves. This is the parallel with Harry and Meghan. The way the media in the UK, the royal family, had gone and trashed Harry and Meghan, what they have done is reveal themselves, who they are. You could see the parallel. Every time I look into these things, I could see the parallel. At the end of the day, these people are gonna cancel themselves out. And the American side, we have to thank the African Americans, because they know how those MAGA racist mindset works. They knew what they were gonna do. They knew if they go out and protest, it will give them the opportunity. Okay? The manufactured thing that they usually create. If African American went out and protest from the beginning, what will happen? It will give the Trump administration, the MAGAs, a reason to go and what do you call this? Something martial law. Okay? So African American did not give them that reason. So this is why instead they probably went back to their drawing board and said, how could we shape this to get these people out? They've tried. There's many other things they have tried, but African American was like, nope, we're not going out. The only time we will go out to protest is to the voting booth when it's time to vote. Okay? So this is the thing here. These people have, don't get me wrong, their tactic have worked. Okay? They've been at it for a very long time to get the Supreme Court where they are, to get the majority in the Senate and the House, but to get to their final destination is to get to the American people. They did their propaganda to build the wall. I don't know if they complete the walls, but they did their thing. But the last, I will not say the last phase, but maybe pre-last phase is to get African American out on the street. And African American did not give them that satisfaction. And now you're seeing other groups are out there protesting, white, and this is how the Rene Goods, the other guy got shot, and then it clicked to other Americans and said, wait a second, if they could do that to them, what about me? Okay, so I just wanna bring this, and this is it for the video. Let's get back to the original and close the video out. Thank you for watching, by the way. So please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. Alright, so that's it. I'm probably gonna do another video. I'm in the mood of recording, and there are times I'm not in the mood of recording at all. So I might do a video for Haiti, or about Haiti, and we will start with this. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, this one is 3 minutes and 39 seconds. They blocked the comments, so I'll start with that for whenever I actually edit it. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
Tanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.
You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.